1 o'clock we start. It's after 1. Is it really? Yeah. So it's a public workshop. It's being recorded for uploading later on. It's not being live streamed. There's no one in the room other than us anyway. It's no media. But we've all read the slides, I think, and some of us have been through some of the earlier stages of this before, so it's good to see it carrying on and continuing. So I'll hand over to you to run through the material.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Kevin. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to introduce the team working on this, but I think it would be really useful. These guys haven't had much exposure to the new council, and if you wouldn't mind maybe just doing a quick round the table, just letting us know who you are, and I'll get these guys to do the same. So I'm Alison, the Strategic Asset Manager and sort of the project sponsor in terms of this piece of work.
I'm Adrienne, I serve in the Transport Strategy team as a transport planner.
Right. Hi, I'm Shane Chen. I'm a transportation engineer. I'm in the civil engineering team.
I'm Simon. I chair the community board over in the Upper Cliff.
I'm Matt Wong, returning councillor and chairing the Community Environment Committee this term.
Melissa White, returning councillor for Arrowtown Kawerau Ward and also chair of Organisational Excellence this term.
I'm Gavin Bartlett. I'm a councillor for the Queenstown Whakatapu Ward and the chair of the Assets and Infrastructure Committee.
Kia ora, I'm John Mitchell. I'm a Queenstown Whakatapu Ward councillor of south of Kingston, and I'm deputy chair of the Smart Growth Committee and the Emergency Management representative to Otago, QLDC. Good to see you.
I'm a third term Wanaka Community Board member, over here trying to extract money out of the council for our arts and culture stuff over the hill, and also find out why we're driving so slowly around town. Sorry, Simon.
And could we get the councillors online?
So who's on? John.
Let's go first.
Yeah, I'm John.
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'm John Wellington.
Oh. There you go.
I'm John Wellington, Upper Cliff Wanaka Community Board member, second term.
Nicola.
Hi, I'm Nicola King. I'm councillor Wanaka Ward, first term councillor.
Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki Gladding, newly elected Wanaka councillor, but I've been on in the Whakatapu for the last 2 terms. Nice to meet you, and I'm sorry I'm not in the room.
Cody.
Kia ora, Cody, second term councillor, chair of Smart Growth and deputy chair of Assets and Infrastructure.
Heath.
Hi, I'm Heath Copeland. I'm the unofficial mayor of Arrowtown, but I'm officially a Arrowtown ward councillor elected. I am the chair of the Smart Finance Committee.
And last but certainly not least,
Yeah, g'day, Quentin Smith, fourth term councillor, and I'm not self-appointed like Keith.
There's also Q Bell.
Oh, Q's on. So, okay, Q. And you don't.
Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Q. You're still on mute. It's on mute.
That's councillor.
Well, that's councillor.
He's the unofficial mayor of Gibbston.
Oh, look, thank you for that. I understand you've probably done that a million times, but it just really helps the staff, make sure we know who we're talking to. Look, today, thanks for joining us and thanks for allowing us to have a special workshop on this very important topic of speed management. So the purpose of today is to really give you, for those of your councillors who've been previously in the space, in the community board, some of you have been through the rather torturous process of change that we've had with governmental change and our approaches. So forgive me for some repetition in this space, but I think it's really important that for the new councillors, we give you a little bit of background, and we certainly will try maybe not to go into too much detail, but post this meeting, we'll send out a couple of links, which I think will give you a bit of overview around speed management, the importance of it, the process of it, and just give you a little bit of extra background. So today we're going to talk about the setting of speed limits, what the actual process is, and there are two main mechanisms for that, and we'll go through each of them. We'll also give you an update on where we are with the current speed management program, and that includes the role that we'll be going through the next council meeting, as well as talking on the alternative method, which is the process we'll be using to set the school speed limits. So we've got a bit of an agenda there, and we'll just work through that. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this slide. For those of you who have been through this process, we had quite a big step change in 2023. When the national government came in, there was a big step change in how they manage speed limits, so the actual process itself, but also kind of the motivations around it. And so there was we were very unfortunate for where we got to in our process in 2023, in that we were out for consultation around the time of the election. And what that meant is that we had basically refined what speed limits we wanted to change to meet the current rule at the time in 2022, but that was significantly changed under the new setting of the 2024 rule. And so each government, one government was about slowing people down, the second government the current government was more about making sure that we had, improving productivity, efficiency and effectiveness. So the whole kind of motivation behind the speed management plan changed. So if anyone's got any questions around that historic process, you can have a look at the slides, we can talk to it, but I probably won't jump into too much detail other than as we move through. We've got a slide here about the speed limits reversals. This was more of a technicality and it actually didn't have any significant change on our network. So just for your information, we had to do a review of whether any lowered speed limits had to be changed. We reviewed our network and we found that none of the speed limits that we had lowered were required to be reversed. So sort of a technicality, but just in case that comes up. So in 2023, as I said, we got to the point of taking a list of roads and our vision and purpose out to consultation. We had a vision that said people can choose to move around our district in a safe and healthy way. And there was some groupings under there. We wanted to make everyone safe, so that included all modes of transport. We wanted to have safe school zones. And we wanted to try and make sure we were building or ensuring network consistency. And as you all know, our high growth network has meant that we've grown fast, and that has led to a bit of inconsistency in things. So that was all about trying to drive consistency and lower speeds in reality to support our more vulnerable road users. If we just go on. So we went out for consultation. We had some great feedback. We had very mixed feedback. There's quite strong opposing views out in our community. But unfortunately, we were not able to progress with actually formalising any of those legal road limits because of the change in the new rule. And the new rule basically said you kind of had to pause and relook at everything. And they added some other criteria around that space. And what I should probably, sorry, just before we jump onto that, what I should probably just, to be clear, so most of you would have been to that NZTA workshop that was on last week. And so they talked about our role as a road controlling authority. And one of the roles as a road controlling authority is that we are the ones who sort of propose speed limits. They get submitted to the Director of Transport in the agency, and then that legalises them on approval for you guys. And it has to meet the requirements of the setting a speed rule, which is set by the strategy of what the speed rule is trying to do is set by the Ministry of Transport, so through the government policy. So just a bit of background there. So the question is, why do we need speed management? And I think obviously we need to ensure that people are using our network safely. And there are a number of areas. So we have a lot of financial constraints, as we're all aware of, and we could build segregated roads, segregated footpaths and cycleways and just have no interaction between the road users. But that's just not financially feasible. So speed management, as well as ensuring that people follow the rules and are doing what they're supposed to do, speed management is a tool that we can use to make people safer on the network without spending a lot of money financially. And the reason for that, and I really love this graphic, is that speed is like a fall from height. If you just fall out of your ground floor or your first floor, you've got a 90% chance of survival. But if you fall out of the third floor, you've got a 20% survival rate. So that's what we're talking about. We're making our most vulnerable users safe on the network. We're trying to make sure that people have time to make the safe decisions when they're driving on the network. And particularly, in a network like ours, we have those kind of rural-urban transitions. We have a lot of people, active users on our network. It is really important that we consider how we keep them safe. If we can't build them segregated networks, then we need to make sure that the users can work together on the network. So that's kind of the general ethos behind what we're trying to do. And that's the Auckland Transport one, so we should acknowledge that, that they put that together. Right, so the process for the 2026 speed management plan, we've got the workshop today, and what we're going to do is take you through, obviously give you a bit of the background to the process. We will talk about some of the particular speed limit changes that we want to make. We're not going to go through them all. There's quite a number of changes on our network. There are a number of changes that we will be kind of legalising from physical works where we've had contracts. We'll be making changes where there's been changes on networks or developments, and we need to legalise, because the default speed limit on any road is 100, and so when you build a subdivision, you need to legalise them by putting them through this process at the, our standard urban 40. So we've got a draft speed management plan, and that's going to council. We're going to do a council meeting in March. Yeah. So I had to think about that one. Sorry. So in March, we will be presenting you with a report that says, here is our speed management plan. Can we please get endorsement to go out for public consultation? So that's not defining what the list, it's not approving the speed limits. It's asking for that consultation process. Then we go out for public consultation. We will then be coming back to council to say, this is the results of the consultation. This is sort of our final recommendation of the speed limit changes that we want to legalise on our network. Assuming that we get endorsement from council, we will then be submitting it to the agency for director's approval, which formalises the actual speed limit. And then they can be found on the New Zealand National Speed Limits Register, which if you've not ever had a look at, it's quite an interesting website, and you basically can just put in any road, it will tell you the speed limit. And that's currently, had all of our previous bylaw speed changes on it, but now goes through this director approval process.
I assume it's supposed to say 26, not 25.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, did we do
public consultation?
Yeah,
no, sorry,
before it goes out to public.
Third test.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Oh, you put it in there first.
Probably should have slowed down a bit, eh?
No.
Boom, boom. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, public consultation, 6 weeks. So that's a statutory timeline that we have to consult for, and we will be providing the actual speed limit plan, an interactive map, and then tables which kind of highlight where the changes are and what it was and what it's going to. And we'll be going through the proposed speed limits, getting feedback on other potential speed limit changes, so any new roads that come in through the speed management process, because we have to consult on the roads, we won't be adding them to the network, but this is not in final process. It's essentially once we've got this speed management plan finalised, we then start building the next one. And the frequency of a speed management change will depend on how many proposed speed limits come up. So speed limit changes come from a number of places. They come from customer requests, they come from councillor requests, they come from where we do physical works, and they do come from developments. So there's a range of ways that we have speed limits that need changing. And actually probably the intention is to update our speed limits at least every 3 years, but that will depend on the frequency of change that we really require that. And there are mechanisms to do ad hoc changes, but there's sort of some stricter rules around that. So that's me. No, it's not. Is it me?
It is.
You want me to finish? I'll pass over to you.
Can I just ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we do a consultation? What am I thinking of that I feel like we've done this before?
In 2023, what we talked about in the beginning of the presentation. So
Yeah.
that was when we did we had really unfortunate timing in that.
Oh, that's right. So we have
been a
kind of,
presentation.
yeah, okay,
yeah. And we
right.
have really tried to incorporate the feedback that we got from that, even though it didn't affect change, we have tried to incorporate the feedback from that consultation into this current consultation. So hopefully people will feel that we have listened to them, because we did really try to.
Yeah.
But you got to a point after that though that you couldn't take it any further because of the change in...
Just because of the legislative changes and what we had put forward and the process that we had used wasn't appropriate.
Okay.
So when it says their feedback on other roads suggested potential speed changes will also be collected and used in the next iteration.
Yeah.
When is that likely to be the next?
So as I said, that will depend on the quantum of requests that we get. I mean, if there are any urgent ones or safety ones, we have mechanisms to, enact them, as needed. But in reality, having a comprehensive plan and changing a large number of speed limits does take a big piece of work.
So if there's a need to relook at it, we can do that at our...
Absolutely. I do not feel like this is your last opportunity. We will certainly be, again, it's been a long time. So the last time that we actually made a broad amendment to our speed limits was 2019, which is when we had the bylaw mechanism to change speed limits. And, that was when we brought in the 40s and some of the other speed limits. So it's actually been far too long since we made a real comprehensive look at our speeds on our network.
And on that same point, if someone does come up with an additional road they want to look at, we can't really include.
We can't set it in. And what I would say is there will be real limitations now. From now, I really don't want to see massive changes from what we present to you. We're happy to do a few tweaks, but and certainly any safety related ones, that's probably a key driver, but we have to draw a line somewhere and as we move forward, say, okay, we accept that needs to be reviewed, but it's not just a case of saying, well, that's 50, we're going to make that 100. What we have to do is, we look at the history on the network, we look at crashes, we looked at the geometry and all the physical natures of the road, we look at the road users. So there is quite a bit of work that needs to be done to change those speed limits and understand what those new speed limits should be. So yeah, as soon as we get this one signed off, we'll have a register of all the proposed changes for the next one.
Very good, thank you.
Cool thing, and I'll pass over to Xinghao, and she is the talk you through some of the more technical.
As we mentioned, in 2024, we had the new setting rule and also the DTA guidelines on the speed management. So under the new rule, we have our new vision and our new principles. So the vision is everyone can travel around the district safely and efficiently. And we got 3 principles with some focus areas. The first one is safe school zones. The second one is support consistent speeds. And the third principle is safe active road users. So I'm going to talk about some examples of the proposed changes that we had in those focus areas. We welcome feedback during the presentation, but if I do receive a lot of feedback during this process, we may just need to wait until the end of the workshop to have feedback. Yeah. So move to the school zone changes. In the speed management plan, we only got 2 schools involved because those are mainly because we are proposing to change the permanent speed limit around the school. So at Wakatipu High School, we're proposing to extend the current variable speed zone to include to the intersection, which has a very high crossing demand in the network. And also the permanent speed limit on Hawthorne Road Drive will be extended to Mountain Ash Drive intersection. Yeah. And the second school we're proposing change is Hawea Flat School, where we are proposing to reduce the speed limit on Ken Road to 60 kilometers per hour, and the school speed will reduce to 30 variable. So currently on Ken Road, the school zone speed is 60 during school peak time and 100 during normal time. Cool. And for our new road proposed and was in the new development area, we want to set a safe speed before the subdivision or the new roads are open to public. So we have captured the area so that we have received in like resource consent or areas where are likely to be developed in the coming 3 years. So a 40 km/h school zone is proposed for all the urban residential areas. Kawaru Heights is a quite special case. 30 km/h was proposed and approved during the resource consent stage. So 30 km/h speed limit signs and also road marking has been already implemented on the street, but that's not the legal speed right now because in short over is all 40 km/h urban zone. But because the street in this development is fully isolated with the surrounding network, so we're proposing to just introduce 30K for this case. And Victoria Flat is a rural industrial development zone, so we're proposing 60 km/h for this area.
Isn't it relatively high for an industrial area?
It's pretty rural.
Yeah.
Well, it is at the moment. We're trying to sell to make it less though.
Yeah, so this is the current proposal, but we are in the conversation with the development as well. What's the speed limit they want to have to ensure like the network safety. But of course, we try to encourage the network consistency for those new development, and we want to have a like consistent approach crossing those areas as well.
It can always be reviewed in the future if it becomes more developed.
Oh, Nikki?
Oh, hi, this is probably one for Alison or governance if they're in the room. I'm just querying, you said this one isn't being recorded.
It is being recorded.
It is being recorded.
Yeah.
Perfect, that's great. That's great. I just thought I'd heard it wrong and then I looked on the website. Sorry to interrupt. Bye.
Thank you. Right, and Queenstown Town Centre, we're proposing a 10 km/h speed limit for the shared zones and also the campground. We're proposing 30 km/h for the streets with very high parking and walking demand. That's Park Street in the location close to Skyline. Yes. Any questions?
Is there any bank in there at all?
No, sorry. I probably should remove that key.
That's right.
Yeah. Right, and we have built lots of cycling shared paths around the district. So along Melligans Road, where we have built the off-street cycle route, we're proposing to reduce the speed limit from 100 to 80 km/h. And Nikki?
Sorry, feel free to keep going. I'll catch you at the end of the slide. It's actually about the previous slide and about something we questioned before. Sorry, I don't mean to. Yeah, I'll go through Gavin.
Yeah. Right, and at Golf Course Road with Cardrona Valley Road intersection, we're proposing to extend the current 40 km/h to include the crossing for the shared path and also passing the retirement village. So this is just some example for where we had the speed limit reduction near our active road user routes. Yeah, sure path.
Nikki, did you want to do your point?
Yeah, if I could jump in now.
Quick question.
So, sorry, just that previous slide.
Yeah.
It's just about Park Street.
Just wait for Nikki first.
Just about Park Street, we had 30 kilometres, and I remember us talking about as it went down to the cycle lane, extending that 30 k's all the way down to the trail. But on the map, it's just got from the corner. So I'm just did that get captured, or is there a reason why the bit along the lakefront can't be 30 as well?
Yeah, so we definitely considered this one. So end of last year, we came back to the infrastructure committee meeting. Is it just been changed? Oh, sorry. The map needs to be updated. Sorry.
Oh. The light map has Park Street all the way to the start of the track.
So we just have reviewed this area. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
That's good, because you're hard pressed to do 10 kilometres along there.
Yeah, too much.
It's much easier at night when there's no parking on the side of the road.
True.
Kerry, again, question.
Q.
Crack on, do.
Q, can't hear you. I can see you talking, but your mic's turned off. You're still muted, Q. I don't know that he's hearing us. I can see Q. Well, I'll try and send him a chat message. I can see him talking, but can't hear you. Sorry, Q.
Okay, well, we'll carry on from here.
Right. And also we have 3 seasonal speeds in our district. So earlier this year, we had a workshop with our emergency services, and they were having some feedback on those seasonal speeds because we only got them either during winter or summertime, so it's not quite consistent. And we have also reviewed the seasonal speeds that we have. For current peak roads, now we are proposing to reduce the speed limit there to 60 km/h, including a very short section of 40 km/h on the top of the mountain near the car parks and the skate club building. And Kinloch Roads, near the small village area, we have a seasonal speed of 30 during the summertime. We're proposing to have a 40 km/h through the small village now. Yeah.
For the whole year?
For the whole year, yeah, sorry, I'm talking about changing the seasonal speeds to permanent speeds now.
Thank you.
And at Glendew Bay Township area, so currently we have a 50 km/h seasonal during the summertime, but we are proposing to change it to 60 km from the One Lane Bridge near the new golf course past the township.
Yeah, so the extent is slightly wider, isn't it?
It's slightly wider than the current seasonal speed. Yeah.
And both the Kinloch and Wanaka Glendew Bay ones are both 100 either side of that. Right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question about the Mulligan's Road.
Yep, go.
I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can a quick question about the Mulligan's Road reduction?
Yes, we can hear you. Go for it.
Yeah, was that determination made basically because of the cycle traffic per se, or because of the proximity of the cycleway to the road? In other words, if it was more removed from the road, would have been kept at 100? Just what were the metrics around reducing the speed? Because this has lots and lots of parallels in Gibbston. Thanks.
I'd say that this one probably has a number of factors in it. Mulligan is probably one of the roads across our district that has the most accidents, and I think it's probably a bit of a misnomer that in our district most of our accidents are in winter and, you know, from those conditions. In reality, most of the crashes that we have are on high-speed straight roads, and so Mulligan's Road is seen as what they call a high-benefit opportunity road. So the safety benefits that we will gain from having a low speed limit are probably most effective on this road, and I think there's probably another half a dozen roads that would fit into that category. This was specifically triggered by the close proximity of the cycle route next to the road, but I think the fact that that corridor, and probably, although we're not doing the full extension of Milligan's Road, I think it would be likely that this would be a road that we would consider actually for the length of it to drop to 80 at some point, along with some of our other high-speed corridor routes.
When you say not full extension, then what part?
Sorry, it was originally, sorry.
I was like extension of the 100k local area, because on Milligan's Road we currently got 70 and also I think a section of 50 as well from memory.
I don't know if there's any 50. I think just 70 at the moment. But from what I can see, the proposal that you're putting in front of us is they're changing all of the 100 to 80.
All of the.
Okay, yeah, no,
I want to change. Yeah,
that's okay. Sorry, I thought I might have missed something. No, that was my understanding was correct. Yeah, I just had to look up what Northridge Road was, but yes, that's where it turns currently to either 70 or 80. Yeah.
So Q's question was whether Milligan Road would be a prototype for Gibbston, but I assume with Gibbston it's state highway. So what is the cross? If we do something on the local road, does that have any influence at all for consistency in the state highway network, or they do their own thing?
I would say that they are probably not going to pay that much attention. But what I would say is what would be more probably effective was, the elected members advocating and actively really pushing that would be a road that you see safety. So they're not going to look at what we do on our roads. That might help the story that you do as advocating for that lower speed limit on the state highway. If there was a consultation on a lower speed limit, it would be amazing to say, actually, we have done something similar on our local roads and it's been, accepted by the community, but yeah.
Very good. Okay, carry on.
Any questions on the signal speed? Awesome. So we have also considered lots of community feedback on the crash, the high consent location. So how we reflect, we're close to the Windmill Corner as one of the location we're proposing changing from 100 to 60 km/h from the south end of the 90-degree bend all the way to past the Highway Flat School.
And I just think to add to that, there are some physical works which are happening at that location as well. So this is not just a speed management change, but trying to put in some infrastructure to ensure that there's kind of thresholds and something that makes the drivers think we need to slow down here.
Okay. Just wanted to make a point on that whilst we can. Because I know there's some money in the minor improvements program for an intervention at Cane Road. I was just wanting some insight into what that has manifested into, because you sort of alluded to it, Alison.
Yeah, I'm probably not in the detail. I don't know, Shanghai, if you know. We can certainly get back to you, Cody, on what the plans are. That comes under the minor improvements program that Lee's running, and we can confirm what the plans are.
I think there's a pedestrian crossing point improvement at the Cane Road where passing those houses. In the map will be at the bottom of the between the two 90-degree bends. There's a pedestrian crossing improvement. And also at the schools, I believe we do have some improvements proposal around the schools as well. Yeah. We can follow that up to and send you more information around it.
Yeah, that'd be good to see if you've got it. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'd like to be included in that information as well, please, because I did a submission on behalf of the Tracks Trust around that intersection and that crossing. So just like to see what the design is. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. And also, if we do change the speed limit to 60 km/h, we will also review all the existing signs, advisory speed signs in the area to make sure they are not higher than the speed limit. So the signage review will be coming as well if we decided to change the speed limit.
Another quick question. Was there a reason that you didn't consider 80 k's an hour, given that 100 to 60 is quite a significant change?
I feel for this section of the roads, because we do have urban development happening, and also we also have a cycle shared path along Kane Road as well. 80 kilometers per hour probably won't have that much of safety benefits that we are wanting to say. So we want to push for 60 kilometers per hour proposed speed limit now. To test public's feedback and say if we can get it installed there.
Okay, understood.
And just move on. So at the Cardrona Skatefield Road, we have introduced the rural intersection speed zone. So the 60 kilometers per hour speed limit is active when people wanting to turn out of the skate field into the main road. So thus speed zone will actually slow down the traffic, giving a little bit more reaction time to the drivers and also more gaps between vehicles. Yeah. And comparing this treatment with the other intersection improvements that that we are wanting to have, this is definitely a very cost-efficient treatment, I want to say.
So is there a change in this one? Because there's already that sign in there, isn't there?
Yeah, so the signs are already being installed, but this process is just wanting to make sure it's all legalized.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
So vehicles are detected at the intersection coming down.
So the speed limit.
Very clever.
Both
That's
ways.
really clever, yeah.
Both ways.
Yeah, both ways.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
see.
the signs.
Coming down the access road.
Yes. Yeah. So the sign has been put in both ways.
So in reality, the lower speed limit's only in place when the sign is activated, otherwise it's
Very cool.
As you go past the Wanaka Airport towards like
Yes, it's only below. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't drive that one way as often, but I have seen that one.
Or the strawberry outside the strawberry farm.
I didn't understand that's how it worked.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's cool.
it's a really good mechanism to keep the speed higher when it's lower risk.
Yeah.
And we have 3 roads in the district that we are proposing for speed limit increase. So Domain Road and Highway, where the speed limit currently is 40 kilometers per hour, and we are proposing to change it to 50, and this 50 will continue to Cemetery Road, passing all the new development area. The reason for increasing that speed limit is mainly because the very limited development happening along the road, and certainly have lots of compliance issue along that section.
What was Murchison Road, was it?
Sorry?
What was Murchison Road?
Murchison Road is a very short cul-de-sac in 5 Mile, where interestingly, the 20 was probably approved in their resource consent. That's it's more like an access road at the back of the, I think the come down, so that links to the car parks and their loading zones. And previously 20 kilometers per hour speed limit sign was kind of displayed on the street, but somehow the sign has been removed. So we're just proposing.
That was the feedback given.
To be consistent with the surrounding network. And also at Cardrona Valley Road, south of the Cardrona Township, we have a short section of 50 kilometer per hour speed limit. We want to propose it to change it to 60k to just be consistent with all the other rural settlements that we have.
It goes 100, 50,
40. Yeah, that's the section.
160, 40.
And move to the biggest change that we have in the proposal, so Glenorchy Queenstown Road. Again, we have received lots of public feedback during the previous consultation, and also some good feedback from the Glenorchy community group during the review process.
And the emergency services.
And also emergency services was kind of very supportive of the speed limit reduction. Just give you a little bit background on the crash history. So over the past 10 years, we had over 200 crashes happen on this road, and recently we had quite a few serious injury crash happened. And for the actual proposal we have, so we're proposing to extend the 40K near the Glenorchy Township and introduce a 60K kilometer per hour near the bridge where you go down very fast towards Glenorchy, and all the sections will reduce from 100 to 80 kilometer per hour along the route, and we're near the residential area, so Bob's Cove and Wilson Bay will reduce to 60 kilometer per hour, and close to Fernhill and from the 1 mile roundabout to the boat ramp, we are proposing 60 kilometer per hour.
Can I make a suggestion on the extending the Sunshine Bay area further than the boat ramp access? So it needs to really go another 200, 300 metres past that for traffic coming from Glenorchy to slow down in time?
Sure. Yep, I can have a close look at the proposal, but I think the current location is slightly extended passing
the there's a blind corner, they come around at 100. Well, it'll be 80 in the future. But that's still not enough time for them to react to those boats coming out of there.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a good idea. Nikki, you put your hand up.
Thanks. Yeah, mine's just on the Bob's Cove one, similar to Matt. There's that little dock area, obviously, where you go down to Bob's Cove that gets parked out on the sides of the road. It gets used as a parking area, really dangerous. I'm just wondering if it could be extended further towards Glenorchy. It might be far enough, and I don't know how accurate the map is, but just the people coming from Glenorchy in towards where that Bob's Cove car park is, they will be coming fast through a treed area. It might pay to slow them down a little bit earlier. I'm not, up to you. I can't tell from the map. Thanks.
Sure. What I can do is after the presentation, I'll bring up the map that we have to look at the locations.
That'd be great. Thank you.
There is an actual car park there, isn't it?
Yes, there is.
It is.
But
there's not enough room. So in summer, they're all on the sides of the road. So
right. Oh, right. That's
really dicey.
It's very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah. And to understand the speed and time impacts on this proposed change, we made some detailed analysis on this corridor. So we look at the traffic data for the entire year of 2024. There's over 130,000 vehicles data collected at the Queenstown side, and also 24,000 vehicle data collected from the Glenorchy side. And we are looking at the current speed limit, what's the current operating speed, and what's going to be the change. So in the graphs, the orange lines are the current speed limit and the current operating speed. The green lines are the proposed speed limit and the modeled operating speed after we change it. What you can say, the current operating speed is actually already aligned with the proposed speed limit very well. So the actual time impact from the model from this change is only 1 to 3 minutes for this trip. Yeah.
That would be. Or can I just? I'm not going to oppose this. If we're going out for consultation and showing these graphs, that's the 50th percentile. So obviously we've got a lot of tourists on there that would slow down the average. And then is the way locals drive, which would be quite different. So the range matters. Yeah. Anyway, thanks. That's all. I just wanted to chuck that in there.
It's to assign any time. So.
Right. And this is a new requirement under the 2024 rule. It's for for all of those proposed changes, we will have a cost-benefit disclosure statement, excluding the schools of the roads in new development. So those information will also be available during the public consultation. I think that's sorry, forgot to touch on the school proposed changes. So that's the end of the speed management plan. We're moving on to the school changes in a different method called alternative method. This one is targeted for schools only, so for variable speed limits. It doesn't take public consultation or any process like that. So we, for our process, we had engaged with the council in October last year. We sent out information to engage with all the schools in our district, and we have received their feedback to confirm all the school zones information. And now we have the alternative method report ready to be submitted to the directors of transport for their approval. And we aim to complete the implementation by end of this financial year.
Yeah, that's set in the speed rule, so we have to have done it by then, don't we?
Yeah. Yep. Just to give you a little bit more details on the changes, because we have reached out to all the schools and they all have some different feedbacks. So some of them will wanting to extend the school zones or maybe change the operating time or have some requirements on the signage. So we are working very closely to make sure we have captured all the information and put it in the alternative method. Yeah, I'm not going to the details unless you guys are interested in any school zones or schools.
So I guess probably the one thing we just wanted to test with you all, that you're comfortable that we progress with this straight to director approval rather than having a governance process. I mean, we're happy to share all the information with you. I think we had a chat, Gavin, with yourself and Cody to get some feedback on the level of comfort around that process. According to the setting a speed rule, we don't have to get governance approval because this is very much an operational school space that's driven by safety, but we want to make sure there's a level of comfort that, you know, do you want to put formal approval through that process, or are you happy that we just follow the director approval process?
Oh, maybe. As long as it's got been consulted on and common sense approach.
Yeah.
Is there approval for it to go out for consultation?
No, so the approval for consultation is for the speed management plan. The alternative method, we just go straight to the director of transport for approval.
So it's the question is whether or not we want it to come back to a council approval, but we don't need to.
No.
Schools a lot better here.
Yeah.
Whatever they've consulted on.
And it's following the direction of the Minister of Transport anyway, isn't it?
It is,
so
yeah.
Changes here.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to type it in chat. Yeah, just wanted to agree. Just around the school changes, happy for you just to go straight through the speedy process.
Cool. No, thank you. That's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Can I just, would we get to see it at all?
Yep.
I wouldn't not approve it, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, we can circulate the report.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Cool, right, just move back to the 2026 speed management plan to just move on to the next stage. We will come back again in March for your approval for public consultation and see if there's a public feedback through that process.
I just add to that please, you know, if you are talking to your electorate, that you do kind of continue that story that we won't be able to enact new changes because of this process of it having to go out for consultation. So if we go out for consultation and get new roads, that's not considered the consultation for those roads. So they will be in the next round of the speed management plan. And this is a continuous journey. We do, as a council, want to get better at continuously keeping on top of this, so there's not such a long gap between speed limit changes.
We can still encourage them to make that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we had this last night, and I guess I just need to echo the same thing. If we can just have some commentary, but I guess we can do this when it gets signed off, some commentary around those roads that we know that people want changed but are not going to be part of this. Ladies Mile is a perfect example, and maybe just commentary around where we're up to that, but we continue to advocate it. We'll eventually go down, but...
What's that?
What's that?
State highway.
No, I know it's a state highway, but people will, I know it's a state highway, but I'm just saying people will want to have
We have
on
a
it.
commentary on that in the consultation booklet that we've got, which will come to you at the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I know that people can't comment on it, but they're still going to want to. So just explain to them that.
Yeah, I think around state highways, it's really, really important to put that, just to create that separation and to provide actually, if you're really passionate about this, because if you look at Makarora, you look at Luggate, you look at Makarora and Luggate, and Hawea, two communities where state highway is really concerning, particularly Luggate because it intersects it. They feel a little bit powerless. Now they'll see something like this and then there will be natural feedback going, why can't council do anything about it? So I think we just need to sort of say that there are a lot of state highways in here. This is the avenue to talk about that.
We've got that two options. Basically, we'll collate that feedback and get elected members.
So how are you going to consult on this, Adrian? Are you going into sort of saying some general principles, give us your feedback? Are you going to, is there radio buttons to sort of yes, no for each of these? How do you, what level of
consultation? Yeah, so the planners, we've got the consultation document, which has got like the crash stats, the kind of the rationale for the changes. Then we'll have the map. Basically, there'd be a sign-in sheet in the map. We want to know who you are, if you live in the district, or if you're just doing a wrap run through this particular road. We want to know if you're local or not. And then you'll be able to give feedback on each individual road. So do you agree with the proposed limit? No. What other roads do you suggest? Any other feedback? It's the plan. So you could put feedback for as many or as little roads as you like.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
I'm repeating myself, but given that we're talking about consultation, just very wary of those graphs that you've used where you've looked at the 50th percentile against the proposed changes and gone 1 to 3 minutes is the only difference. I do think those are the slowest of the tourists, and we need to, the locals need, I guess, I think it would be helpful to present what it does for the say 90th percentile and where they will sit against the proposed changes and acknowledge the difference. Doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean, you know, that we shouldn't be consulting on it, but it's about acknowledging the reality for some of the others. And yes, they will be slowed down by the 50th percentile, but they pass them and go beyond. That's what the passing lanes are for. So it will make a difference to locals and to commercial track transport and stuff. Yeah, that's the one. So if we could do a different line, so not just the current 50th percentile, but the current 90th percentile or something, and just acknowledge how long it will take them difference, because it might not be that much. Would that be okay, or is that really difficult, or?
We can have a look at that, but we try not to look at the bus traveling vehicles in the analysis, because one of the benefits for introducing lower speed is actually to reduce the differences between vehicles, because you always have people who are familiar with the roads traveling really fast, and people.
Well, hang on, it's the 50th percentile is quite low. This is the slowest half. So what about the? Yes, no, it's 50th percentile. It's not the average.
It's the
or
median.
Is it the median, or is it the average, or is it whatever it is? But either way, well, exactly. But if it's an average, then what you're looking at is some very slow drivers going 50 k's down that road, really pull it down. So numbers, you know how stats get tweaked however you like. We just have to be aware of accusations of that. And I think the point is to not use statistics as justification or you know, you've got to use them honestly and show what it will do for the other users. I just, it stood out, it just glaringly obvious to me. So I suspect it will be glaringly obvious to the community as well. And we needn't face that pushback. If we present the information more, so that, you know, it shows what the impact is on the faster half of drivers, most of whom will be, you know, or a large percentage will be locals. Most locals won't drive at, you know, those modelled speeds.
We'll take on board your comments. Let's have a look at the data and see what we can pull out, because then we can still either...
Yeah, it's just about being honest about how it impacts everybody.
Kevin,
thank you.
I don't know if honest is the right word, but at least providing a fuller picture. I don't, having spent a lot of my life driving on that road, and particularly when I was young, I would have benefited from having a sign saying slow down. Yeah. So the locals would actually benefit, and I know some locals would feel the same today. And so you could, if you could represent what because most of the accidents that happen, and this is the most dangerous road in the district, they happen at high speed, not at low speed. So if you can capture that graphically, that might help. But I don't know if honest is right, just a better representation.
We'll have a plan and see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, support John's comment.
I just wanted to make a comment around the interactive map. I think is a really great tool for consultation. Just want to commend the work that's done on there, because I think it makes everything make sense. It's intuitive. There are things that I have, you know, differing opinions on, but I get that this is a testing phase. So just to commend that as a way of getting the word out there.
Side question on that though, on the slide pack that we've got, a link to that just takes you to the ArcGIS login page.
You should have got the login.
On the email, there was a login to go into the internet bit, yeah.
We had,
okay.
we didn't want them
separate process to get into.
Right.
So it's still the public.
So when it goes public, it'll just be straight into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good one.
It's still being refined slightly.
Yeah, there's still tweaks happening. So yeah, please don't circulate that just yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we? Do we want to go to the map now? Or do you guys got any feedback on the presentation?
No, not an expert, thank you.
Right, the map haven't captured all of the changes yet, sorry, for all the 3 seasonal speeds, because those are fairly new feedback from the emergency services, so we haven't captured them yet. And I have received a few additional changes around the team. But the map will be ready probably by end of next week.
Actually, a question with accident data, is that vehicle on vehicle or vehicle alone, not vehicle, bike or pedestrian? Are they included in the accident data?
Yeah.
So they are.
All the crash data is captured by the MZTA, and so we're just using a feed of their data, and which includes any accident that happens on the road, sorry, any crash that happens on the road corridor.
So when you look at the map, there should be 2 layers that you can say. So the speed management plan, should be 26 now, as what's going to be in the public consultation, and the alternative method, that's the school zones that we are proposing. That one will go to the director's approval shortly.
So for the members of the public looking and they won't understand alternative method?
That won't
be available for public.
But we'll be able to see whether we're going to change school zones.
We can probably publish that as well, but we won't say.
Can we show the school zone changes?
Maybe that's.
What do you guys think? Should we include the school changes, or is it going to confuse the issue?
I think it's good to include it, but call it that.
School zone changes. Yeah. Just say that that's what's changing. Just a minute.
You're not consulting. Yeah, we don't want any feedback on it. I think we need to be clear.
It's okay. Tell people that, but it is part of the.
Are the changes going to be made at the same time, or will these be made before this?
These have to be made they have to be implemented by end of June this year.
So the consultation will go out, and potentially those school changes haven't.
Or they'll start
so it'll be.
As soon as we get approval from the agency, we will start implementing the changes.
just confirming Park Street is extended to include the residential streets as well.
But that doesn't go all the way to the park though, does it?
Sorry, which park?
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Apologies.
We have also received a request from our parks team to include 10-kilometer buffer for Queenstown Garden.
Where's it now?
Probably not speed limit.
It's probably 100.
Well, that might be the legal thing. I think there's a 10 sign.
Is there a 10 sign?
Don't forget there's plenty of signs around where the legality
Yeah,
doesn't, the
We've been trying to
legality.
legalise.
Well, that's like the Carrel Heights one, that's quite clearly already.
Few speed humps in there.
And just move to Glenorchy Queenstown Road. So this is the boat ramp and the changes.
Yeah, so it'll be 60 in that orange all the way through to there.
So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Does that go far? Because
where's
the
ramp?
Yeah, no, because the exit,
that seems
Yeah.
far.
the exit's kind of,
That's
that's probably right,
meters.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's probably about right.
It's about 100, from memory is 100 or 150 meter. From
Yeah,
the entrance. Yeah, we picked this location because of the visibility issue
Yeah.
here at the
Yeah.
corner. So just for your information, for Wilson's Bay, this one will be extended to past the new development. So the 60K will start from the new intersection with the development because they have changed the environment quite significant. The shoulders are much wider now.
So it's the bottom of the hill, isn't it? As you're coming down there.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's the top of the hill.
Coming down.
And it's coming down that way.
It's quite steep when you come in the corner.
That's where that big bus crash was, wasn't it?
Just before above it, yeah.
You'll save a few accidents on that corner going from GY to Queenstown in the winter too. It's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of black ice there, isn't there?
It's also quite a steep rise up as you're biking.
Yeah.
We
We can't let you go any faster.
You can take out the.
No, you're saying it's going to go around that corner.
Yeah, it's good. The 60K will go around this corner to past the
new
development. That haven't been updated yet.
There you go, Tony. You only need 260Ks up there on your bike.
If you take out the hill there, it'd be helpful.
Yeah. We'll put a escalator.
Thank you.
Magic carpet.
Magic carpet, yeah.
Maybe just need you.
Ross, cable and
Right, and look to the Foxcove development. I think, are we talking about this park over this end?
Is that car park there?
Yeah,
Yeah, the car parks.
This the car. Oh, this is car park, right?
So
Yeah, so they-
Yeah, there's about
So
30
they're all
cars.
Yeah, or you could probably extend it, but
a little bit
a
further.
bit.
Yeah,
I think probably. Yeah, because a lot of people hit the 60 sign. If they hit a 60 sign, they'll slow down after it.
Okay.
We should note as well that there's a temporary 60K going in prior to this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are there going to be lead-in signs like 300 metres up the road saying approaching 60K, or is it just you hit the 60K?
So the advisory speed ahead sign is required. Usually, if the speed limit sign couldn't be doesn't have a good visibility.
Right. Like in
For
the
this
forest,
case, if we do, I think I picked this location is probably because of visibility issue for the section further away. But if we do extend it, we may need to have like a 60 hertz sign.
Speed.
Yeah, reduce speed, can the pre-advisory sign at this location, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to be extended because where you've got it, the cars are parking there, I think. Thank you, guys. That's great.
Thanks for all the feedback. Is there any other location we want to talk about?
Okay.
Nice, fabulous, indeed. Not downtown Arrowtown, Simon?
Arrowtown? No.
Our preference would be not to put anything new in from now, and then we will be starting a register of any other changes, and then anything new will go into the next register. I really do want to put my foot down here. We've got into the end day. Thank you.
Out of interest, where did the 70Ks go? Like we have 60, we have 80 and 100.
Yeah.
Did the 70 just sort of go out of flavour?
We don't like odd numbers anymore.
Yeah, we try not to use 70K along rural corridor. We're trying not to, but I think Church Road in Margate will be the only 70K we have in the proposal. In the current map, it shows 80, but we have received something that from the truck company, and there's the transport companies, and we think we're just going to go ahead with 70 in the proposal and see what's the public feedback on that one.
The 2022 speed rule was very clear about getting rid of those odd numbers and staying to the even numbers. But I guess we have to, other than 50. But now, but now we are not following that strictly because there's no restriction on the usage. But
Like a lot of the feedback when we consulted with our community associations was Goldilocks zone was 70. And so it's either 80 or 60 now. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, one sec. You are proposing a 70K on Cemetery Road for a small section, just from memory. And then obviously Golf Course Road is also 70.
We're just not changing those 70 for now.
Generally, if it's 60, people go 70 anyway. So.
Could be a future good pub quiz question.
What's that?
Which road in the districts are
70?
70. All of them.
I expect you to get it right, Tony.
Right, thank you. Is there any other comments? Thanks, team. It's been good to...
Actually, I want to thank these guys who worked really hard. This has not been an easy process, and those of you who have been involved in it for a long time have known that it has been a challenge to go through. Sorry?
Can we send the bill to the government?
I would love to. Yeah, the legislative changes have made this a really difficult and uncertain space. Post-election, there was just no certainty other than change was happening. And it's a really good example of within the Property and Infrastructure Directorate. We all work in different teams, and so what we've done, it's been a really great cross-team exercise where we've kind of made a speed team with people from planning, engineering and asset management. And so I just want to really thank the guys that have worked hard on this.
2 point. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Very much appreciated.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the vibe, if any, on if there's a change of government? Is it going to be change again in the space, or is it kind of settled now? This is going to go forward.
Look, my view is that the policy statements that we're seeing from the two key colours is that they're getting further and further apart in some of these changes. Really? And there is an intent in some areas to go for kind of that bipartisan approach, but speed management seems to be a fundamental area of difference where, we saw in the previous speed rule that it was all about slow, safe. We're prioritising safety over some of those efficiency, and we've got productivity and efficiency and safety. So
it could change again.
It could change again.
So, Q, you've put your hand up.
I thought it was excellent. I have two questions. One is, first, does NZTA do the level of analysis per kilometre that you've done? Because again, this is coming from Greater Metropolitan Gibbston, where we have one road going through, which is State Highway 6. And second, what I get from your presentation is that we should make a submission to NZTA about road safety here on the one road going through us, because the world's going to change dramatically when the Kawerau Gorge Trail opens, and there are 4 very dangerous major crossings here. We've already had one serious accident. We get a lot of people from the Northern Hemisphere looking the wrong way. We're going to have a death if we don't slow down the speed.
Yeah, look, to your first point,
conceivable even that it was thoughts.
Sorry, Hugh, you're breaking up badly. Didn't hear that last bit.
To your first point, state highways, the level of analysis.
Guys, sorry, it's just really very hard for Q to hear if there's other noises around the table.
To your first point, the level of analysis is really set under the speed rule. So those cost benefit calculations, the process is kind of set through that speed rule. So in theory, they should be applying the same analysis that we're doing. And secondly, 100% NZTA themselves will tell you that you should be advocating for the speed limits that you want in your areas. There are a number of channels, as Adrian mentioned. The intent in our consultation document is that if there are commentary on the state highways, we will collate that and we will give it to the state highways. But it should definitely, you should be advocating through the community associations, through yourselves, to say and really show that what the community wants, that the state highways have probably stepped back from what was quite a regime of lowering speed limits, particularly in those urban areas. But what they will tell you is that if there is community support to do that, they will do it. So, you know, do make sure that you are capturing. And I think in the past we've probably collated responses in those key concern areas from you all and done that to support that process. But yeah, the more you advocate, the more likelihood you are to get reductions.
Excellent, thank you.
All right. Thanks all.